without further ado, we'd like to move on to the next session, which is the panel discussion on challenges of online education. Now, this will be moderated by Mr. Jha, who you've already met. But we would also like to welcome Ms. Neeta Bali, Ms. Rema Nandakumar, Dr. Sarada Chandrasekharan, and Ms. Hemantini as our panelists today. Before they take the stage, let me go into give you a bit of background on all of them. Ms. Neeta Bali is the director and principal at GD Goenka World School. She's a seasoned educator with 37 years of teaching experience. Last 12 years as head of leading schools, both residential and day. And she has a broad repertoire as head of international and national curricular schools, such as IBDP Cambridge, CBSE, ISC, and ICSE. She's conferred with the Uttarakhand Ratan Award, Jean Lowry Grant, and the Future 50 Principals Award, Shaping Success by Univarity, and Fortune India magazine. Next, we have Ms. Rema Nandakumar, who's the Dean at Samsid Mount Litera Z Schools. In a career spanning 29 years, she has worked as a teacher for 14 years, and then as the principal of two prominent schools for 13 years. And fittingly today, she's the Dean of Samsid Group of Schools for the past 2 years. To her, an education should prepare a child for the journey of life that lies ahead. She has achieved this by expanding the role of teachers from academic experts to child nurturers, which has made a huge difference in teachers' approach to education. She recognizes that a happy teacher creates a safe environment to bring out the element of curiosity and interest in the child. She has a double master's degree in economics and education, with a diploma in counseling skills and a diploma in happiness from Berkeley University. Next, we have welcome ma'am. Next, we have Dr. Sarada Chandrasekharan, who serves as the academic director at Whitefield Global School. Now, Dr. Chandrasekharan is an MA, BEd, MPhil, with an MBA from ISB and a doctorate in ethical learning. She has over 36 years of experience, including 29 of which were as the principal and director of premier institutions, such as Delhi Public School in Vizag, Air Force School in Coimbatore, Venkat International Public School in Bangalore, and Bharati Vidyapeeth in Navi Mumbai. She wants to be remembered for her far-reaching and futuristic views in education, and for making schools a happy learning experience for the children. And lastly, creating an education value system that is truly centered around the child. And the last panelist today on this session is Ms. Hemantini, serving as the trustee and teacher's trainee at Academic Heights Public School. With an MA and BEd for over 30 years, she has taught English and arts. She has worked in CBSE high schools and private institutions at Davangere. She's also the coach director of Bachpan Academy towards nursery teachers training. Now let's give them a warm welcome. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Mr. Jha to kick off the panel discussion. Over to you, Mr. Jha. So you're on mute, Mr. Jha.
Sorry. So thank you, Neeta, for this introduction. No, I took a wrong name. I wanted to invite Neeta Bali ma'am first. So my privilege again to be a moderator for a very erudite panel, and we have self-disciplined and self-directed leaders of education with us. The introduction has been given already to you, and so where should we begin? I thought that I will ask either Himantini ma'am to start or to Neeta ma'am to start, given the kind of topics that they have decided for themselves. Can you tell me?
I don't mind starting.
Yeah, I thought that yes. So Neeta ma'am, let's begin with you. Yes, please.
A very, very good morning to everyone. Beautiful morning, and it's wonderful to connect with everybody here. And I can see that this is going to be a very, very invigorating discussion. When we spoke last, the topic that I thought I should speak on, and something that I feel very strongly about, and something that not too many people may want to speak on, is the fact that with this abrupt change that has happened in the educational scenario, I would call it an abrupt and an almost overnight change. It came like a bolt from the blue, if I may say so. It was so abrupt that it came like a bolt from the blue. I think our whole, the entire digital landscape has undergone a sea change. Having said that, the people who are the stakeholders, just a minute, please. Yeah, the stakeholders.
Someone wanted to say something.
Very deeply change. One set of stakeholders is definitely the parents. And I'm not talking about parents of our school. I'm talking in general of parents, because during my interactions with a lot of friends, a lot of other people in society, people who matter, people who are young parents, people who are seasoned parents, if I say seasoned parents, parents of the older children, all of them seemed to be facing a set of difficulties. Some common across the board, and others probably a little different in nature from one another. First, I think one major difficulty that most people face, even if you have to establish a daily regimen for the children. And children find it very difficult to adhere to a regimen. One, I think the parents find it tough to put down a regimen. Two, once you put down the regimen, it is very difficult to ensure that children adhere to that regimen. It is very significant that children adhere to the regimen that you have created for them. So I think that is a primary difficulty. The first difficulty that most parents told me that they experience is this laying down of this daily routine or a daily regimen, particularly a wake-up schedule with the older children. The older children in a scenario like this, because they know they have the flexibility of attending classes online, may want to skip a few classes, and to ensure that there is a proper wake-up schedule and children get up on time to attend their classes is a challenge that most parents seem to be facing. And this is a very, very genuine challenge, because when I am talking, I'm not standing on a pedestal and talking in terms of jargon. I think that just doesn't make sense. I'm jargon and keep it very simplistic and talk about the real practical problems that parents are facing. This is one, establishing a daily regimen that children will adhere to. Ideally, when they speak to me, parents, when they speak to me, I tell them that involve your children in creating this regimen. If children feel that they are involved and engaged in charting out their own schedule, the possibility is they will adhere to it, at least to some degree. So that is one challenge. Second, a lot of parents may have the wherewithal to procure a number of devices. You may have 2 and 3 kids in a household, and every parent is using a device. Let's see that there are 2 school-going kids and 2 parents who are working. In that case, you require at least 4 devices in the home. And phones, definitely, even though smartphones are being used by a lot of children, we also use it. I'm using it right now. However, having said that, I think procuring that many devices ensuring that everyone has a device because everyone's trying to work simultaneously, or parents have to sacrifice their usage of the device so that children can finish classes and then they start their work. So that becomes a huge, hurdle. A lot of parents who work are expected to work in the mornings, particularly with the working parents or even those who have businesses. Those are very, very crucial hours. The morning hours are very crucial hours. So if you have, let's say 3 devices, 2 devices, and those are shared devices, laptops or other devices, then, it can disrupt the schedules of the parents, particularly those who are working and want to use these devices. And if you have the wherewithal to buy more devices, I think good enough. That definitely is a very, very genuine problem. The third problem that I found that a lot of parents experienced initially, not every parent is tech savvy. Not every parent is tech savvy. And here is the problem with the parents of the younger children. Younger children invariably need absolutely hands-on supervision when they're using devices, and not every. So here we have a bunch of parents who will simply turn around and say, I don't know much about technology. I've hardly ever used a laptop. My husband goes to work and I don't use a laptop so frequently. So how do I help my kid with the daily, daily schedule and online classes? In that case, those non-tech savvy parents, so to say, are struggling and grappling, and they have to be trained first, or they have to self-train themselves, or they have to seek assistance from somebody so that their children can attend the classes uninterrupted. That, I think, is again a very, very genuine problem. With the younger children, when I've been doing my walkthroughs, so to say, now can't be a literal walkthrough, but a virtual walkthrough with the classes, through the classes, I find that younger children are very distracted. Making sure that they remain focused, you have to create an atmosphere, and you have to create a teaching learning situation which is very interesting. Otherwise, they will not want, they're so restless, they cannot, their attention span is poor, and they cannot possibly stay in the class for too long. So they're very distracted and they disrupt the classes with the younger children I'm talking about. With the older children also, I think the flip side of this pandemic has been that teachers have really picked up the cudgels, so to say, and have equipped themselves with very creative skills. So they're using a lot of creativity in the classroom.
I want to ask one question to you. Sorry for interruption. I just want to ask one question.
I'm sorry?
I just want to ask one question to you. Sorry for
Yes, please.
We are talking about the challenges of the parents or change in the education system. I am not getting your subject.
I'm talking about the challenges.
Ms. Bali, your line is not so. Ms. Bali, the line is not so clear, ma'am.
I logged in from a phone.
I see. If you could come in a bit closer to the mic, it would be easier. Thank you, ma'am.
Give me a minute.
Mr. Gajanan, what you could do is you could type the question out on chat, and we'll address it so as to not interrupt the flow of the conversation, sir. If you don't mind.
Not an issue. Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Bali, yes, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Yes.
Continue, ma'am. Thank you.
May I please continue with your permission? There's a gentleman who wanted to ask a question. May I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Yeah, he simply wanted to know the problem that you were pointing out was the problem of the parents or the problem of the school.
Yeah. No, I think I was very clear in stating that I'm talking about specific problems that parents face. I'm not talking about school.
Yeah.
Because I think there's somebody else who's talking about school. I am not talking about school. I'm talking specifically about parents, because I really believe that parents are the hardest hit.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue.
Right? Yeah. Thank you. So I was talking about distractions, and I said that the flip side of this entire pandemic is that teachers have, I think their creative juices are flowing more aggressively, and every teacher is trying to innovate in the classroom. In fact, it is such a pleasant surprise to see those who were in the older age bracket and were resisting technology are now using it almost effortlessly after months. And it seems to have become a part of their teaching learning style. Creating an academic environment. For parents, it's a huge challenge to create an academic environment that you would find in a classroom. In a classroom, definitely, where a teacher is the facilitator, it is very easy for a teacher to create an academic environment. And I must say, parents are very appreciative of the fact that in a class of, let's say, 25, in international schools between 15 and 20, or in CBSE schools, 40 kids in a class, it is, I think, a big deal that a teacher is able to create an academic environment. And we with 2 and 3 kids cannot create an academic environment at home. I think is a major challenge is creating this academic environment. So children are motivated to learn. Majority, I think, creating a motivation for children to learn at home, so that children have the flexibility of moving out, because it is an online class. Often we face this as a school when a teacher is teaching. When I do the walkthroughs, the virtual walkthroughs, you would have children would have turned off their cameras and invariably sauntered off, and parents are not able to control. So the teacher imagines, I'm sure the teachers know that the kid is not there sometimes because the child is not responding, but the parent is unable to control this kind of digression from a norm. So creating genuine motivation for children so that they would want to learn during these virtual classroom teaching, and constant monitoring. With working parents who are also facing financial stress because of employment flux. There is a lot of employment flux. So working parents are also facing a lot of difficulty of financial stress, of salary cuts and so on and so forth, or their businesses being hit by the pandemic. They themselves are grappling with a host of problems. And then you also have the children who are closeted. Children feel stifled and closeted in the house, and parents have a problem on their hands, because this sense of claustrophobia invariably leads to behavioral changes in children who may not, who may misbehave, who may throw tantrums, who may sometimes become hysterical. So coping with the whole host of psychological problems that are a fallout of homeschooling, so to say, I think that is another great challenge that parents are facing. So when they come to us, we generally tell them, don't shy away from one. Of course, immediately we mobilize our counselors and say, well, here is a counselor available. Please make it a point to get in touch and have a session with the counselor, or have group sessions, or in small groups, let us meet with counselors. Otherwise, I also recommend to the parents that your child is not able to focus and your child is disoriented. In that case, seek the help of a professional counselor. I think broadly, these are the difficulties when I've been speaking to parents. These are the difficulties parents have been experiencing.
Thank you.
I don't want to overstep my time, and
Thank you.
I do hope I was able to add value. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have pointed out important role that parents have been beset with. I would like to take it up later on when the discussion is happening, that I think that this is the great thing that this pandemic has done, that parents have really become the true stakeholders in education. Most of the parents who were only concerned about how their students will go to the school and then how to fetch them from the school, now they are becoming the truly stakeholders in the education. They have their role now clarity with them. Okay, so we'll discuss that later on, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neeta ma'am, for this taking up the issue of. I would now invite Madam Sharda Chandrasekharan. She is going to point out another very important part of this issue. Sharda ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. A very good morning to all of you. It has not become afternoon. One more minute to become afternoon. And yeah, I love to talk about children. I love them a lot. All of us do love them. That's why we are all here. I would like to recall one great ghazal by Chitra Singh and Jagjit Singh, which talk about "ये दौलत ले लो, भले छीन लो मुझसे मेरी जवानी, मगर मुझको लौटा दो बचपन का सावन, वो कागज की कश्ती, वो बारिश का पानी." This is one of the
Fantastic.
ghazals which talk about the childhood, that all of us will give a tooth and nail to go back to that day, go back to that particular point where we would like to actually play, we would like to nudge, we would like to pinch each other. We don't go to school only to learn. We go to school for socializing. We go to school for having fun. We have to sit in the classroom and make fun. We need to cry. We need to love. We need to laugh. We need to play. We have to go to the ground, and we should fight with the teacher for not giving us a chance to play. These are all part of growing up. And we should eat when the teacher is teaching and get caught by the teacher. These are all very healthy way of making mischief. That mischief is what we remember when we grow to our age, that I have done this. And when we go back to our own teachers, they should hold our ears and say that you have become a principal, you know how much of mischief you have done. Now, this 1 year, the children have lost that. The children do not have the fun. The children are seated in front of one lifeless screen, and now we have a bandwidth problem, and because of which they need to switch off their audio video, and me as a teacher become very suspicious whether the child is learning or not, whether the child is attentive or not. And I will do some kind of a Sherlock Holmes job. What do? I will send one letter to the parent. Looks like your child's system isn't working. Now the parent becomes Sherlock Holmes. They will peep into the room and they will send one strong mail back to the school. My child's system is working, and I'll ensure that his audio video works. Gone the mischief. I cannot chat because the teacher is monitoring. I cannot sleep because my parent is breathing down my neck. I cannot tell my parent the teacher did not teach because the parent already knows the teacher is teaching. I cannot actually widen the gap between my teacher and the school by giving some kind of a small lie, which is a healthy lie, saying that no, my teacher did not come today. The parent knows teacher is there. Now, life has become miserable as a student. My fun is gone. And I'm expected to sit for minimum 4 hours, maximum of 5 hours, with some 15-minute gap in front of this lifeless screen, and sincerely complete time without looking here and there and listen. Then I will be monitored by 10 people. Isn't it a problem I'm facing? And then if I have any kind of depression, I have 10 people questioning me, what is wrong? You are happy in your own room. Am I? I'm not. If I go out, I have a fear that I may be caught by something which is a big devil waiting outside. And if I sit inside, there is another devil waiting. That is my loneliness. And I have to learn, because this time will not come back to me. Everybody is telling me this. We all talk about many things that we do for children, but we cannot bring back that life to the children where that pinching, that nudging, that fighting. And please understand that happy small attractions they had with each other. I dress 45 minutes when I'm a 12-year or 14 years, standing in front of the mirror. 15 minutes I comb my hair, not because my teacher or my parent says you are looking good. It is my peers who we should say that, wow, what a hairstyle you have today. And I know that my discipline in charge will punish me, but still that adulance I get for 10 minutes that I broke the rule is what going to make my day. I have lost it. And my teacher says my skirt should be below my knee length, but one particular day I fold it one more hold and I go to school only to show off, not to break the rule, I know that I will be given punishment. I lost the fun today. What I wear doesn't matter, only my face is, or sometimes face is not seen. Now, what do I do in such a pressing time? I need to do all the learning. I cannot talk to my friends except that out of the class. By then, my parents says too much of a screen time, don't see. Okay, at least before I could watch the films. Now, because of this screen time, all that is gone for me. Am I right? So please understand me that I also need fun. I also need this time. I had very, very healthy life, very, very healthy social interactions. I learned and I learned whatever I want. This is one healthy child. Then you are forcing me to become an independent learner. I will. When will I become an independent learner? That when I feel I should become an independent learner. Today, forcefully, I'm made an independent learner, and that revolt is coming from within me to say that I don't want to learn. We all are really, when we say that, yeah, I want my childhood back, can we give back this 1 year to the children? We cannot give back. This is what the child is undergoing. That is the reason many of us are trying to do many things to the children. We keep virtual tours. We will keep virtual, games. We keep a lot of virtual interactions with them. And we say that, don't worry, you will come out. And we will also tell the parents, if there is a time, let the children go out and play. All these are happening. But still, I tell you, when they grow up, this nice period, especially you think of 12th, you think of first standard, you think of nursery, you think of these children who just stepped into 9th standard, the teenagers, they all have lost one beautiful period. The nursery child first time seeing the teacher online, and 12th child has lost the golden period. We all talk about our graduation day, yeah? And where is the graduation day for the 12th today? Virtual? We feel bad about it. Yeah. So the children have lost emotional, social, and the fun-filled connect. They are getting the intellectual, academic connect. We are trying to do a lot of things. I know parents are under great trouble, as Neeta Bali ma'am said. I second it, I third it. I know that what a parent is undergoing, but what a child is undergoing is this particular period, which will never come back to them. And we are all of us who are here, who are not here, doing things to make that happen. But I know that we cannot make it happen. COVID was very nice in a way, because all of us understand that the teacher can use technology. The teacher is smart, teacher understands, and teacher knows, and teacher will take my feedback as a student if I give. All this the COVID has done. Okay, COVID has made a child increase the respect on the teacher, especially people of my age whom they thought that will run away from the entire technology, have taken to technology like fish to water. So the respect has increased. I do understand as a student, I'm giving respect to all my elders, but I'm missing my fun. This is what the child has missed. And this, all of us can do a better job somewhere. We are doing a good job. We'll go for a better job. They will remember this as the best period in their life. Thank you very much for listening. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Sharda ma'am. Such a passionate plea for the lost childhood, as somebody said on the chat. Absolutely marvelous. My point, however, is that I am a counterpointer all the time. I would like to draw your attention that today, when a child is born, the mobile phone has taken the space of the grandmother, and children are glued to the mobile phone. And the screen time as such is not a problem. The thing is that what they want to see on the screen, and how as a teacher we should be making that happen so that they find it useful. It is not only somebody is not only teaching when a teacher is talking something to them. They are teaching on their own as well. And now with that question that I would like Sharda ma'am to respond to later on and reflect upon this later on, I invite Rema ma'am, Rema Anandkumar ma'am, who is going to take up the cause of teachers and try to share some of her thoughts about that. Rema Anandkumar, welcome ma'am.
Good morning. Happy morning to one and all present here. So my topic is not about the challenges of the teachers. Mine is the challenges the schools have gone through.
Okay.
So shall I talk about that?
Yeah.
Or would you
Whatever.
Okay.
It's your.
Yes, sir. So this is the topic which I have decided yesterday. When
Fine,
we had this, and also I think the time allotted for me is how many minutes, sir? I would like to know that the time.
We decided that we will restrict ourselves to 3 to 4 minutes, but
Exactly.
I would say that
Okay.
you are the best judge.
Okay, sir. Yes. Anyway, I know that all of us in the education sector have gone through 3 phases during this pandemic period. We do have the constraints in all these phases. According to me, the first phase was from March 23rd up to 15th of July. March 23rd is the lockdown started. And during that time, we were trying to understand about this pandemic and thinking about the safety measures of our children. And the second phase started in mid-July, where schools were fully geared up for the online classes and realized that this academic year, we have to prepare our students without wasting one valuable year. Now, the third phase is from mid-December. That's what is going on now. But let me tell you, in all these phases, the decision making was the most important problem which we are facing due to the uncertainty. The second was the government's decisions keep changing. That was the second challenge which we have seen. The third is the financial issues and the preparation for the online classes. So when we look at it, these constraints are there in all these 3 phases. During the first phase of lockdown, as I was telling you that our concentration was learning about COVID-19 and how can we all be safe was the foremost interest for all of us. The schools were informing the parents that the students have to be safe at home and do not worry about the exams. We will be able to promote the students based on all the assessments we have done so far was the assurance we were giving to the parents. But that brought a lot of constraints for us in the financial front. There was a sudden drop in the fee collections. The schools were completely closed and the admissions were down to nil. However, the schools had the fixed cost and also we had many other expenditure for making the school in function in the future, for the future. So we had to have the online sessions for our teachers. And also we have, the training sessions, providing infrastructure for our teachers, like laptop and tablets, internet facilities, providing the effective visual teaching aids for them and so on. So all these things we were doing during that period. And for all that, the finance was required and our fee collection was very, very less. The next important thing is, what about the other stakeholders of our school? Think about the transport facility, the housekeeping team, and these were all the other constraint which we had. And when I look at it in the second phase, the schools are fully geared up for the online classes, that is from July 15th. Parents are so happy about the online classes. I heard about Sharda ma'am. Yes, there are a lot of problems the students are going through, but at the same time, we do take care of their mental and emotional constraints. We understand that is why we are having all the activities, whether it is the Republic Day celebration or whether it is the field trips or whether it is the teaching aids. What we are using is also, we made it very, very interesting for our students, so the parents are happy, and and the online classes are going on beautifully well. And that is the time the government is confident that the COVID spread was contained, and they started giving various instructions to reopen the school. At the same time, the problem what we are facing is the parents are not ready to send the students. Even the higher classes students do not want to, the parents do not want to send them to schools. And that is the phase which we are in right now. So we have to conduct the virtual classes, and also we had to reopen our schools. We have reopened, very few students are attending the schools, and for others we have to take the virtual classes. So when you look at the constraints, there are many, but at the same time, when we think about the pandemic time, we have learned a lot, and also we are grateful to all the stakeholders of the schools. Thank you. This is what I would like to tell you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for putting up a very, very structured kind of stages that schools have gone through. We also need to really think about the future of school. And the TIFAC, which is the Technology Forecasting Institution of the government, would like us to believe that by 2035, the schools will have to be reimagined completely. I think that year has to be, it has to be preponed, and it is sooner than the schools are reimagined, it is better. Thank you so much for this very, very rich perspective that you have shared. And now, last but not the least, I am inviting Madam Hemantini, and she is going to talk about the teachers, I believe, and many other issues that we are facing. So, Hemantini ma'am, welcome to take the stage, please. Is Hemantini ma'am not there? I saw her. Nisha, do you have any idea? Oh, Hemantini ma'am has come back. Yes,
she's come. Yeah.
yes. Hemantini ma'am, it is all yours now. Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Waiting. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. There was a problem here, some net problem. Sorry to that. I would like to talk about the challenges faced by the teachers in general. And before I begin, I would like to thank the organizers of TREX to give me an opportunity to be a part of this event. I'm honored, sir. Now I would like to begin with a quote. I'm reminded of Winston Churchill words, "Never let a good crisis go waste." I repeat, never let a good crisis go waste. Yes, this pandemic, the unprecedented one, has though upturned or ruptured all human beings on this earth, it has made every one of us to face life more challengingly. As such, I believe that life itself is a challenge which makes life more interesting. Coming to education field, with online education, though we agree that human connections can never be substituted by technological intervention, the challenge created by the crisis has presented us with an opportunity to accelerate the growth of digital learning, or say hybrid learning. Globally, 1.2 billion children from 186 countries are out of the classroom. Education is in transition. At present, it is evolving. It has made us to think whether the adoption of online learning will continue to persist post-pandemic too. The pandemic has left no choice but only to take a chance through e-learning. E-learning, though being the latest wave of education, is posing challenges for not only the instructors and students, but also to parents and institutions owners. Now, to talk about the challenges faced by the teachers, though teachers are rising up to the challenge the pandemic has thrown at them, it has given teachers the learning opportunities. Teachers are facing deep-seated problems in e-schooling system, despite the work has increased manifold for teachers. The first challenge I would like to talk about is teachers are helpless to find their students as passive observers rather than active participants during their online instructions. Those students may acquire the lecture content, they are not using their new knowledge to make connection with previous material or real world examples. For learning to be effective, students must be engaged in a quality, breadth, and depth of their learning. At times, a good teacher, while taking online classes, get disturbed due to the passing unwanted, irrelevant comments from students who do not cooperate and try to have fun, as mentioned by our Rema. Well, these students are more from the middle school and high school children, and this naturally hurts the teacher. Now, the second challenge I will talk about is the teachers staying connected with students. Though teachers do their best in completing the syllabus, much of the learning is completed asynchronously and students feel disconnected from their teachers as well as their peers. It becomes difficult for teachers to teach when they struggle to gauge how students are comprehending course content and whether they are participating in learning experience. The next major challenge of the segment is teachers' lack of efficiency at pushing students to think of new ideas. Teachers are not always good at predicting the difficulty level of new ideas for students. That is, the teachers tend to believe certain problems are easier than they actually were, only because of lack of in-person interaction, which we don't find in this online education. The feedback on questions, clarification of doubts is something the platform is unable to deliver 100% satisfactorily, as a teacher cannot reach hundreds of students in a single classroom. The biggest challenge is the lack of professional educators on delivering a high volume of content in short amount of time who can creatively condense it down and satisfactorily concise the content. This skill is expected from all teachers in this online education, which is a big question mark. The approach of teaching or method of teaching the subject or theoretical concept varies from one person to other person. And the last but not the least, the challenge faced is also about the physical and mental fatigueness of the teacher. Just for the preparation for 45 minutes class with PowerPoint presentation, having animation or popping up diagrams, or even say definitions to highlight, or holding quizzes or projects to make class interaction and engage literally drains out mentally and get exhausted. About physical fatigueness, teachers' work has increased manifold with online assessments of students' tests and exams, projects which are uploaded in PDF files. That is too tiresome. So online education is without thrill and excitement for both teachers and students. Lastly, it's a very touching challenge, which I read it in the newspaper yesterday, which I have gathered that point. Several teachers are working in private schools are worried about pay cuts and losing jobs, as the school managements are thinking of cutting salaries following the recent recommendation by Education Department to reduce students' fees by 25% to 30%, especially in And thus the pandemic has caused the problems of the teachers. There are the few challenges which I commonly found all over, especially in Karnataka, and my school having the classes till 7th standard. So the main problem for the teacher is how to take class for the nursery section, especially the LKG, UKG people, students, or even the first standard and second standard students. So it's not so easy to get connected to them in the online. The small kids, or you can take my own granddaughter's example, not afford to sit, as somebody just now said, Emma or Saraswati, who says that it's very difficult to sit in front of the screen, a lifeless screen, and expect many things from the students. It is a challenge for the teacher. Thank you. This much.
Thank you, Hemantini ma'am, for giving a very broad overview of what teachers are facing. The only point that I would like to disagree with you is that the online thing is totally devoid of any thrill, because I was completely thrilled by the exposition that you gave online. So right now we are online connected, and what you are saying is making absolute sense to me. Let us be very clear. I have been wondering as a teacher that the teachers who have the hesitation and problems of learning the online things, will they be extinct like dinosaurs? And this is a question that each teacher should think about very, very seriously. Okay, so fantastic presentations, all the four. I will now put the floor open. I just want to read Mr. Girish Nair's long post that he has sent on the chat. He says that the pandemic has definitely put all of us in some kind of a difficulty, but of course it has also made people to realize their potential to deal with such situations effectively. It has made most of the teachers teach savvy, but the most interesting one is every student, especially from class 8 onwards, realized that they have to learn everything by themselves, unlike the other time. There is no teacher behind to pressurize, to check, to monitor, etc. They came to know that unless they take the effort to study, they are not going to get promoted to the next class. Very nice, Mr. Nair. Anybody else that they have any question, any concern, please share that.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. And our dear participants, do send us your questions on chat. If we have time to address it, we'll definitely do that, or we'll respond to you at a later time. Ms. Bali, Dr. Chandrasekharan, Ms. Hemantini, and Ms. Nandakumar, thank you so much for your time today and the real challenges that you guys are facing. But in the interest of time, we need to move on to the next session.